And we're live.
Hello, everyone out there in screen and podcast land. Welcome to the Goopplycast. I'm Matt Carter, your host. With us tonight is Matt. Hey, Matt.
Hello.
As well as Roy. Hey, Roy.
Hello.
And Tim. Hey, Tim.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about the monumental, the transformative Apple event today.
So
I don't know if it was transformative. It was definitely
a new Apple Watch, 2 new Apple Watches, and 2 new iPads.
Yes, they did.
And
so
Apple
many One
services. Yeah, Apple One, Apple Fitness. They announced so much, but we'll get into all of that, I'm sure.
Yes, we will. I think we should start out with the Apple Watch Series 6, which Roy and I are both getting. Roy got, what color did you get? You just got the black, right?
Just gray. It matches everything. I don't buy into getting anything other than a silver and a gray watch because it's hard to accessorize with. I know that you went with one of the color ones, which, once again, I can't guarantee that I can always accessorize and match with it right. You know, you're going to be more limited on your band option.
Well, so no, because the band, I changed my band with everything. So, I mean, like, I have the white Pride band on right now.
Like you're getting which
I'm getting the blue.
And you think
I hold you guys for just a sec. So are you guys talking about the watches that you have now, or that you
the newer ones,
Series 6s?
Yeah, so the new one came out with it came out with a new gold color, and then it came out with a product red, and it came out with a blue. It's like a navy blue type event. It's more or less going to be the same color as the new iPhone is rumored to be, but space gray is what I have now, and Roy has the space gray one too, and I don't think the new one is called space gray. I think it's a different. I think it's
no. It's still gray. Well, it depends on whether or not you get the if you get the aluminum one or the stainless steel one. Yeah. The stainless steel one is called like charcoal or something like that.
Charcoal, yeah.
But the aluminum one is still space gray.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get the blue. I'm gonna go out on the limb there and get the blue. I think it'll still go good with white bands.
What if you wanted to get like a salmon colored band or something? It's just not going to go with the blue as well as it would with the space gray. You know what I'm saying?
I'm never going to use a salmon band. I have my bands already selected that I use. So
I'm just saying. I feel like you limit yourself more with a colored watch than with a basic silver or gray. Somebody back me up on this.
Do either of you know? I know Matt doesn't have an Apple Watch. Do you have an Apple Watch, Tim?
I don't.
So,
but if you got one, would you ever get we lost Matt.
We lost Matt.
Would you, Tim, if you got an Apple Watch, would you go with the gray, the gold, the silver, the blue, or the red, and why?
I would. I feel like silver would go well with other colors. Silver or black would go well with other colors. I don't know about like gold. I feel like gold would be a bit tacky, but I would say if I were to buy one, I'd probably say silver or black.
I like the new colors. I think they look great. I mean, red's my favorite color, so anytime I see a product red thing, I'm always envious of it. Like I want, on my last iPhone, not my current one, I had the product red leather case and the product red silver and silicone case. If they made a product red iPhone 10, I would have gotten that when the iPhone 10 came out and I got my phone. It's different with a watch though, because everybody sees the watch. The watch, is on your wrist all day. You got to accessorize with what you're wearing, and not that I accessorize a whole lot because I don't. I just feel like when you corner yourself into a color, it's a little bit harder to match in a more professional world. You want to more color coordinate. I'm not trying to bash on you for getting the blue watch, Matt, because it's a very nice blue. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
that's just
my own blue.
My own justification for not getting a colored one.
Well, I think I'm still sticking with the blue.
I think the blue I want pretty great.
I think I just want something different, and this is something different. I'm gonna get the blue iPhone if it comes in blue.
I would definitely get a blue iPhone, or if they came out with a product red this year, I
See?
would. I mean, that would be my
My
number one.
blue iPhone will look amazing with my blue Apple Watch.
On the charger when you have them next to each other.
No, when I'm holding them up to my ear,
You can
Okay,
always
okay.
plasti dip if you decide
I
you
could
don't wanna
always
go
get
with
a. Well, I could always get a D brand skin or something
True.
too for it. You know?
You gonna get any of those new bands that they announced?
I'm kind of excited about the bands in some ways. I mean, I like the slip-on bands, so um, I think I'll get a few bands for sure. I haven't really looked into the bands as much just because I have so many bands already. I have 28 bands already, so I don't
I like
really.
them, but I want to go to the Apple Store in person and see
Yeah, I
them
want to see
and
them. I
touch
want to
them
see them
and
before. Yeah. And I kind of want to go through my bands that I already have and get rid of some of them because I do like the new leather bands though.
oh yeah.
I have the old leather bands and it looks really good. So
Well, good for you that the chassis did not change and you can reuse
I
your
know
old
I can
bands.
reuse my watch bands yet again. Never I've had bands. I've gotten bands every year since the very first Apple Watch, and it hasn't changed. Even when they made it from 42 millimeters to 44 millimeters, um, they they made the same design so that you could still continue to use your Apple Watch bands.
Well, the chassis was the same size. They just increased the
They
screen
just
size on the
increased the
chassis.
screen, yeah. They just increased the screen size, so it goes more to the edge now, which is really nice. Um,
Are you
so
guys
let's talk.
concerned about? I mean, one question about the band. So they have the new like slip-on band, like you said. That's all. There's no clasp or anything to hook it together. They have two new bands. One is this like mesh silicone kind of band, and the other one is just like straight silicone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think
So
I'd be worried about the silicone, like collecting sweat around my wrist and kind of, I don't know, just getting really like hot and sweaty and sticky.
Well, I don't think it's going to be too much different than the traditional sport band would be as
Mhm.
far as collecting sweat around you. I will admit that this last summer, I opted to change to the Nike edition because it has all the holes and it's a lot more breathable and it's really nice. Same with getting one of their nylon bands or their what's the other the sport loop.
Sport Loop, yeah.
You know, those are nylon ones and those breathe really well. The problem with those is they're not they discolor easily from sweat and water. But you're right. It's not going to be as breathable. I wonder how much more breathable the woven silicone one that they're making is, and that's once again why I kind of want to go to the Apple Store and take a look at them in person and feel them and kind of get a feeling that way before I would think about spending money on buying one of those watch bands. The idea behind it is cool, but in practice, is it going to hold up? Are they going to warp over time from needing to be stretched to fit over your hand to get on your wrist? It's another thing that I worry about.
It makes me curious, like what the number of stretches they tested it to before it like broke, because they do that with other components, I'm sure. Like how many times can the Apple Watch go in water before something happens, or how deep into the ocean does it work? Like, does it for sure go 33 feet or deeper? So be curious to see it.
I have the traditional silicone bands too, and regarding the sweat and the condition of them, I don't think that they really get. I've have noticed some discoloration in some of the black ones that I've had, but overall, I don't think that they discoloration and attract. They do attract some sweat in there and stuff like that, but as long as you clean your bands every night, which I do, just take a cloth to it and whatever and wash it down a little bit. Protects your Apple Watch, and it also protects your bands as well, so that when you resell them, because I resell my watches every year.
People, oh, okay, gosh, I was like, people buy watch bands just like straight up.
No. So I usually give them a new watch band when I sell my watch. generally. If I get a new watch band with the watch, probably this year I won't do that, but I do have some like cheaper ones from Amazon and stuff like that I would probably give and stuff like that. But yeah, overall I think they hold up pretty well. I just need to go through mine. The one thing that I'm worried about though is my wife and I share bands a lot, and we're probably not going to be the same size, so bands.
Oh,
so that's kind of sad on those one fit bands, because
They have a whole sizing guide. You have to figure out what size
you have to find out what your size is and stuff like that. So I haven't done that with hers yet. So
that's kind of misleading. It's like one size fits all is like the implication, but you actually just buy the size that fits for your wrist.
Yeah.
And then call it good. And then if you grow or shrink, you have to get another one.
Yeah.
I mean, your wrist is not growing and shrinking by that much to need to get a new, wristband size for your Apple Watch.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, my ring size has not changed in the 10 years that I've been married.
So if that's the case, then what is Apple charging for each of these bands? Do they get like cheaper, the less material they use?
They're probably, honestly, it's probably their normal price for their regular sport loop and sport band. It's probably going to be $49. That's what they're charging for the Nike bands and for the other silicone bands.
And then the leather ones are like $100 or $99.
Yeah.
They were like $129 or $149, and they actually dropped in price like a year ago, I think. So they generally are around $100 now.
Okay. And so has the Apple Watch always been waterproof? Because I saw during the presentation.
No, so it was originally water resistant, and then it became IP64.
What, Series 3? I want to say.
No, it was swim proof. Remember that? It was swim proof, and then it was waterproof.
Like you were able, the first generation Apple Watch, like you could get it wet. In fact, if the crown ever got sticky, they recommended running it under warm water, to get whatever debris was in there. I remember seeing that because my crown was getting sticky for whatever reason, which just wasn't rotating as smoothly. But I want to say it was either Series 2 or Series 3 that it became swim proof. And that's when they added in the swim workouts, and they have this, you can lock it if you go into your control center into water mode, and when you're done swimming, you turn the crown to unlock it, and it blasts some low frequency sound waves out of the speaker to eject the water out of the speaker port.
What?
Yeah, it's really clever, Matt. Like when I first got it, and I was like, and I got out of the pool, and I did that, and somebody was like, "What is that sound?"
My kids every time.
My watch.
Well, let's see if you can hear this.
Oh, that is so clever.
I watched a video from the slow-mo guys where they filmed it in slow motion. It was super cool watching the water get shot out. Yeah.
That is cool.
And I guess it's rumored that there's some patents going around that Apple's trying to apply the same technology to the iPhone, not for this year's iPhone, but maybe for next year's if they can work it out, so that the next generation of iPhone can be even more water resistant than the current generation.
Oh, that'd be ridiculous. What hope is there for other cell phone manufacturers?
Well, I mean, I can't imagine that it would be that hard for them to come up with something similar.
That's true. I'm curious because like the whole presentation with all the reveals and all the just dedication to like craft and quality, the talks that all the different developers of their different jobs, like there was, I forgot her name, but she was talking about how Apple was going to go like 100% carbon neutral with their manufacturing, like all the way up and down their supply line, and all the little attention to detail that they have through their entire manufacturing process. Pretty amazing. So
that's why Fortnite needs to pay their 20%.
30%.
30%. You're right, 30%.
I was wondering if we were going to get through the night and not talk about Fortnite, but they are not shipping USB chargers now with the Apple Watch either. So you'll get the cable but you won't get the plug.
Yeah, they didn't say anything about not including the cable.
Yeah, which is fine with me because I have a dedicated Apple Watch charger that they made for it, and I just I put that on my nightstand at night, and that displays my time if I tap on it, and it's like a bedside watch thing for me. But I have a whole drawer full of USB chargers, so I don't really need one. If anybody needs one, let me know. I can ship it your
And
way.
they're so inexpensive. I mean, you can go, grab a USB charger from, the store for $5. I mean, they're so cheap, and everybody has something that they can plug a USB port into.
And like some of the power surge protectors also now come with USB slots in there, and you can put USB slots. It's really easy to replace your socket and add USB-C or USB ports, or you can even do USB-C if you wanted to. That's not that hard. It's really simple, and they give you the instructions on how to do it.
Is the cable that comes with the watch a wireless charging cable?
It's not
Kinda.
like wireless, like
it's a magnetic.
Charging. Yeah,
it's a magnetic charger that attaches to the back of the watch. So
that'd be the harder thing to get, not just the wall plug. That's easy.
That's exactly it. And there's also rumor that Apple hasn't completely given up on the AirPower idea. And if Apple is indeed not giving up on the AirPower idea, it's even bigger incentive for Apple to stop including chargers to get people to buy their AirPower, which, if you're part of the
kind of
Apple
what they did to the
ecosystem,
headphones.
it almost makes sense.
Is AirPower their proprietary wireless charging?
Yeah, they're working on AirPower. Well, it was going
launched.
to be.
It was going to be, and then they scrapped the project because it couldn't meet their high standards of quality. They kept delaying it. They announced it, and then they delayed it, and they delayed it, and they delayed it, and delayed it again. And then
now it's just out there indefinitely.
Then
they announced it late 2016.
Yeah, and then they said they came out like a year later and said that due to the high expectations and quality, we're unable to deliver this product, basically. And they're going back to the drawing board, essentially, so don't count on it. Since then, though, three different manufacturers have been able to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, three other manufacturers have made chargers with 3 wireless charging stations attached. So Nomad is a big one out there right now. And it's, you can charge your Apple Watch, your AirPods, and your phone at the same time.
It was a cool idea because it's just a bunch of coils all next to each other. But the problem Apple was having was it was causing overheating, because when you have all those coils next to each other, you do that. But these other manufacturers have gotten, I don't know how they got it to work, but or they haven't had any issues like that with Apple.
Some of the third-party chargers that I've seen, they have a wireless charge for your AirPods and for your phone, but the Apple Watch thing is actually just a slot where your Apple Watch charger slides into. So there's not actually 3 coils there. It's your Apple Watch charger that's just kind of sneakily part of the mat. And I don't think all of them are like that, but most of the ones that I've seen are like that.
Yeah. Some of them are like that. I bought one off of Indigo, and it was going to be like that, and I ended up canceling it because it just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. But yeah, so we should talk about some of the features of the Apple Watch. What was your favorite feature, Roy, in the new watch faces? Or
no, the blood O2 sensor is probably my, I think it's the biggest feature that they're adding to it. Being an asthmatic myself, they and they even touched on it that, your blood oxygen level is pretty darn important as an asthmatic. If you're struggling to breathe or you're having complications with breathing, knowing where your blood oxygen saturation level is gives you an indication of how urgent care you need. They even announced with this Apple Watch Series 6 that they will be partnering with, and I can't remember who they said they were partnering with, but they're going to be doing a study on basically all the biometric readings that the Series 6 can do and how that affects asthma and the triggers for asthma and whatnot. And I'm excited to see how that's all going to integrate, because I will definitely sign up for that study. But that is to me the most important feature of Apple Watch Series 6. The watch faces are cool, but I looked through them today because they're out with watchOS 7 Golden Master, and they're cool, but I don't think they're ones that I would use on a regular basis.
Well, I'm excited because they announced that developers will have more abilities with the watch faces and stuff like that. So they're opening up more. I didn't look through the SKI or anything like that, or SKD on it, or any of the developer things yet. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they can do for developers. I mean, they're not third-party watch faces, so third-party watch faces aren't going to be able to do it. But you'd be able to basically design your own watch face complications better into the watch face, because I have different watch faces throughout the day. Like in the morning, I have a different watch face. During the day, I usually switch watch faces and have like a calendar or a to-do list. That way I can just quickly glance at what I am, and then in the afternoon or evening, I have more of a workout, watch face to kind of see where I'm at on my rings and how quickly to get them closed and all that. So
I don't change by hours of the day, but I have watch faces. Like while I was on vacation, I used the California watch face, which basically will just tell me the time. It tells me if I have any messages, and that's it. Because I don't need, while I was on vacation, I didn't need access to my calendar. I didn't care if I had any meetings scheduled or anything, because I wasn't going anywhere doing anything. During the summer, I use the infographic watch face, because I can have more complications up there, so I can see the air quality, I can see the UV index, I can see the weather conditions, as well as my rings and my calendar and whatnot. So I kind of change based on what day of the week it is. Like, is it a work day? Is it a non-work day? Is it summer? Is it not summer? That's where my watch face changing goes to.
I really liked the. It wasn't an emoji. It was one that they partnered with some kind of artist, where there was like just a face, and the time replaced the eyes of the face. It was like 10:10, and so they had this little squiggle of a nose, and then 10:10 for each of the eyes, and then a weird kind of hair piece representation.
yeah, I think I saw that one at a glance. That was pretty good. Oh yeah, there you
It
go.
is literally just called the artist watch face. You can't really see it as well on the phone with the glare.
See, I like that one because they were just like, yeah, there's hundreds of different combinations that you can choose from or randomize. I don't remember if they were super specific on that, but I don't know. It looked neat and playful, which I got from a lot of the watch faces. And then some of the ones were just super stylish. Like they had just lines. And they were like, you can represent your team or your nationality or, whoever you play for or whatever you're into. Apple will let you.
Oh, the stripes one. And it super is, because you can go up to 9 stripes. You can do it circular or full screen. I mean, there's literally, almost every color of the rainbow here available. You can do it at any orientation: 0 degrees, 15 degrees, 30-degree tilt, 45, 60, 75, 90, and then all the way back around. So I mean, you literally could make that striped face whatever you want to represent, or whatever combination of colors you want. It's super customizable.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. And I do kind of like the direction that they're going, because I was kind of worried if they were to release third-party watch faces, if developers would just, make junk for it, because I like to have quality watch faces. And I think that, continuing to add more options for customization is the way to go, and still keep it customizable. So I'm really excited for that. One of the big features that they did announce, though, is that it's family setup. Was it called, Roy? Or
oh my god,
yeah, I think that was family setup.
Yeah, family setup, and basically, essentially, you can. So if you have a kid or an older adult that doesn't have an iPhone, they can link up to your your phone and your plan, and you can then essentially share their plan with it, but they'll have their own phone number. For kids, very customizable for privacy. You can find out where they're at, what they're doing, if they got to grandma's house okay, if they got home from school okay. You can get an alert on your phone saying they've made it home and they're home. You can put do not disturb mode on while they're at school, and have just a generic watch face where they can just see the time and the date. And
You can control their contacts.
You can control their contacts, who they can contact, who they can message. And again, you have a phone and a watch right there without an iPhone, which will be good for some people, who have kids that don't have phones and stuff as well.
And
so
it has a focus mode, which they showed off. A kid was kind of studying, and it had just a really simple watch face that he could look at that wouldn't distract him. That I think might have blocked him out or something.
Yeah, and a lot of adults have been asking for this too. Like it was one of the big topics at WWDC is when they were doing interviews with the Apple executives afterwards, like, why can you not pair a watch with an iPad? Because some people don't want to have an iPad. Now, obviously, you can't pair it with an iPad, but you could, if you have a spouse who has an iPhone, you could essentially pair it with them, and then you don't have to carry a phone around anymore. You can just simply have a watch, and it will work. It'll work with cellular modes too. It'll be available on all the major carriers: T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T in the U.S., and a bunch of other carriers outside of the U.S. So that's kind of cool that it's in there as well. So
I was blown away by the sheer scale of that rollout, like having, I don't know, that technology and partnering with all the different cell phone companies all across the world just seems amazing. And they rolled that announcement of the family, the plan share, into the announcement of the iPhone SE. Because right when they said that, they showed the kid the Apple Watch. I was like, I don't know if I'm buying my kid a $300 Apple Watch. And then they're like, well,
Apple Watch SE.
Yeah, the Apple Watch SE. He went straight into that, which is fantastic.
So I think the Apple Watch SE is great for people, especially elderly people. One thing why is because it has the fall detection. The fall detection was really huge in the Apple Watch Series 4. It's one of the reasons I got it, just in case I ever did fall off a ladder and, splatter my brains all over the concrete or something.
Well, you
but
never know these days.
You don't. It's obviously saved lives. Apple is come out and said multiple times, not just here at this event, but in the past, on how the Apple Watch has saved people's lives with the AFib, the fall detection, and the SE comes with all that in there. And that's awesome.
It's a pretty compelling product, and they wove it into a pretty compelling narrative where they started talking out about how it saved lives, how someone didn't know that their heart rate had something to do with some kind of intestinal issues that they were having, and like all the health features packed into the Apple Watch is amazing. I mean, was it Singapore, the city state of Singapore? It was like, sure, we'll let people get Apple Watches. We'll use those to incentivize our nation to live healthier lives. And so they're partnering with an app company over there whose name I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll look it up, to just incentivize their citizens to stay fit, stay healthy, and pay attention to their wellness, which I think is an incredible credit to Apple. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. My insurance company even launched an app. So my insurance company is Aetna, and they have an app out there. And if you can download the app, and there's two different plans. You can do it where you can get an Apple Watch, and you get credit every month for your achievements and your goals for exercising and stuff like that. And that basically pays for the Apple Watch. Or you can do what I do, and I just get gift cards to Amazon or Apple or whatnot. Because I spend enough money there, I just figure you might as well. So my goal is I have to achieve 750 calories every day. And for every day I do that, I will get I will get 100 points. And then at the end of the week, if I do all 7 days, I will get 1,000 points. And then for every 5,000 points, I can then redeem it for a $5 gift card, $10 for 10,000, so on and so on. I think I'm at like 15,000 because I did redeem a bunch. I had to redeem a bunch before my healthcare renewed. And then there's other things too, like challenges that you can do, and stuff like that. If you do a certain amount of steps in a day or something like that, they give you an extra, 500 points or 1,000 points, just depending on the challenge and what it is. So, and obviously it's based on your healthcare plan, with your provider, but definitely worth checking out, if some of your healthcare providers have that option, because it's a way to get free money and get fit while you do it as well.
Yeah, gamify everything. That's the trend.
Yeah. So what I was going to say though, too, obviously before when we were talking about saving lives, though, you don't really see Samsung saving lives with their Apple Watch.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I have an Android phone and I love Android. Absolutely love it. If there's one thing that entices me to switch to an iPhone, would probably be the Apple Watch, just because Android Wear just isn't that good.
It's not there.
I still use this for just notifications. Apps don't work anymore, or really anything. It's just for notifications. But there's the Galaxy Watches, but it's kind of like you have to settle for the Galaxy Watches instead of it's not the same experience.
And you could be like Matt, who has a Microsoft Band.
I have a band which I wear to sleep. It's my sleep tracker. Plus, I have a Gear, and the Gear is pretty fantastic when you have a Samsung phone. Like when you don't have a Samsung phone, it's kind of lukewarm. I probably wouldn't get one if I didn't have a Samsung phone. But it's nothing. It's not as integrated into the system as it could be, because Samsung OS basically is on top of Android, which has its own kind of restrictions for Samsung.
Yeah, so I don't really need the sleep tracker, but I'm curious if the Apple Watch, because I don't need it because I have a Sleep Number bed, so my Sleep Number tracks my heart rate and all that and movement. But does the Apple Watch SE appeal to you at all, Matt, about the features and stuff like that, maybe of finally giving up on your band? And
no. So I wouldn't want something that's that expensive for essentially just wearing at home, because
you could wear it out too, though.
What about the Series 3? That's $199. $200 for a smartwatch is
and getting a sleep tracker with it. I think
they're really good deals. The reason why I have my Gear is almost exclusively for Samsung Pay, because that works everywhere, regardless.
But you could use Apple Pay,
which doesn't work everywhere yet, even though, as we talked about, COVID forced a lot of mobile payment options to be a thing.
Not enough, though.
No, not enough. Yeah. Not enough. I can go into any mom and pop store with my Samsung phone with Samsung Pay, or my watch if I forget my phone somewhere, and just buy stuff. And I think that is more convenient than it would be to pay X $100 for an Apple Watch for the privilege of walking around with that.
I also wish Apple Pay processed it as credit, because when I'm paying with my watch or my phone that's already biometrically made sure I am who I say I am, and then I have to insert my PIN number on a PIN pad that I'm trying not to touch to begin with.
So that's actually not that. That's actually your bank's feature. So some of the banks run it differently for different things, is from what I'm told. It's not supposed to ask for it because it's always supposed to run it as credit, but sometimes the banks, when they set up their I don't know if it's the bank for the provider that's out there, like the shop, the retailer that you're shopping at, or if it's your bank. But what an Apple store employee told me, and I don't know if he's right or not, but he said that just the way they've set up their Apple Pay, they didn't set it up properly in configuration. It should run as credit and be the same cost for them. But again, they didn't set up Apple Pay correctly. I do like the fact that I go I use my Apple Pay everywhere. I rarely take out my debit card anymore. And if they don't take Apple Pay, then I don't go there.
Oh,
It's that simple.
When I went to this actually a year ago now, I went to Australia for with me and my wife for a friend's wedding, and everywhere there accepts Apple Pay everywhere. And so one of the days I was off doing something, and I had the credit cards with me, and I needed to bring them with, so I was able to add them to my wife's iPhone, and anywhere she went, she was able to pay with Apple Pay, which was the nicest thing ever. And it was,
So your wife has an iPhone.
she does have a iPhone,
So you could
yes.
essentially get an Apple Watch off of her plan.
I could.
I'm just saying
And
that
she could get
family
alerts when you make it
sharing
home safely.
that family sharing option might be really good for you. And then she'll always know where you're at.
Can you use it like with the family sharing? Can you use it as if it was your own? Like, can you have apps inside? Can you install apps on the watch?
Oh yeah, you
on the
can
watch.
do it. You can do it
Yeah,
right from the watch.
Okay.
The Apple Watch has the App Store built into on it. So I can go onto my Apple Watch and download Apple apps right from there.
I'm used to Android where everything doesn't work ever.
And I don't know I don't think the carriers announced the plans for it, but I don't think it's anything different. So for example, with T-Mobile, it's only $10. If you have auto pay on, it's automatically $10. Verizon, I think I just read that they lowered their plan for smartwatches down to $10 as well. So both of those, I mean, are great deals just for an add-on. I mean, to get a watch, with, unlimited data. I mean, you don't use a lot of data on your Apple Watch, but it's not like you're downloading movies or anything like that. But
can you watch Netflix on the Apple Watch yet? That's the real question.
You can't. No, you can't.
Tim Cook, get going on that.
Stat.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Apple Watch SE will appeal to a lot of people, and I encourage both of the people on the bottom here of the screen to get an Apple Watch. They're remaining silent. Better yet, I have a Series 4 I can sell both of you guys. I make you a great deal because I have 2 Series 4 that I'm going to be selling here shortly.
Do you know how upset the people at my work will be if I bring in yet another device that I don't have? Like,
but
Matt,
you need this. How will you tell the time without it?
That's a good question. Plus, I don't know. It's
tell them you brought it in to save your life.
Does it have
this one's here to save my life in case I fall?
What is the S? You said Series 4, right?
Series 4, yeah.
What does that have that the Series 6 doesn't have?
It doesn't have the O2 sensor, and it doesn't. It's
always
got
on.
a always on display. It doesn't have the new chip that they have. So it's essentially an SE, basically. I think it has the Apple Watch fall detection. It has the AFib. It's essentially just the SE, but the SE has a nicer chip in it. So.
Okay.
Is the SE going to have the always on? I can't remember if they said that one way or the other.
I don't remember. So. I don't think it does, though, because the Series 4 doesn't. And I think I read that it's a lot like the Series 4, just rebranded as SE. So, but you really don't, unless you're Roy, you don't really need an always on display. Roy is obsessed with always on displays. Well, you look up and the watch comes on.
That's what always on means?
But then you're like,
no, always on means it's always on.
Legit always on. Yeah. So I was worried when they were talking about like the O2 sensor. They also have an altimeter, so they track like your height as you're like hiking and stuff, plus the heart stuff, plus the always on. I was really concerned about the battery life. Like, do you guys
battery
have
life is great.
Yeah. Battery life is great on it. I get all day battery life, and I'm usually at the end of the night, I'm usually at about 50%. Sometimes 40.
Yeah, I can go just about 2 days on my Apple Watch. Like, obviously that's going to depend on how many alerts am I getting, how much am I using my Apple Watch, but on an average usage, I can go almost 2 days without. If I forget to charge my Apple Watch tonight, I'll be fine.
That's pretty good. And actually, I might take you up on that Apple Watch offer. I will think about it. If you are
Okay.
getting ready to sell it, just let me know.
I am getting ready to sell it. So
He will be ready to sell it
Tim,
Friday.
are you ready?
I don't know.
He's like, no, I gotta check with my wife first.
She needs an Apple Watch, right?
Yeah, does she,
does she
need an
have
Apple
one?
Watch?
She does not have an Apple Watch.
Well,
she has a
then she needs an
Fitbit,
Apple
but
Watch.
she has a Fitbit, but doesn't use it.
She's got to have like a birthday or an anniversary or something coming up in the next
True.
year, right?
Well, her birthday is Christmas Eve, so Christmas Day, it's like double. I have to give her double the gift.
Then you get her the Apple Watch for her birthday, make her feel super special, and then you get her a nice Christmas present.
When's your anniversary? Is your anniversary before that?
It's the 26th of January.
You know what a great present would be for her is for Halloween. Get her Halloween.
Because Halloween's gonna suck this year anyway. You might as well do something really nice for her.
Halloween's already gonna suck this year. So you can't go get all the candy and everything.
Sorry,
so just give her an Apple Watch.
Sorry, can't get candy. Happy Halloween.
You could even give her a candy apple at the same time.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
Autumn themed treat.
I think I still have the boxes for him too, so you could even wrap it up in the box. And
it's not attached to your wall.
Yeah, no, it's not actually. No, it's not. I sold Roy one of my old phones, and because his wife cracked her screen, and
I should show you. I should send you a picture of how bad it's smashed.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But anyways, the case or the box is up on my wall, and I didn't want to give him the case because I didn't want to take it all the way down. So
his wife was like, "But you got to give him the box." I'm like, "I don't need the box. I don't need the box."
So I did ask him if he wanted the box, but I didn't.
The only iPhone box that I still have for some weird reason is my iPhone 10 box. I've not saved another iPhone box ever.
It's kind of funny because my Pixel box is in the middle of all my other boxes. So for my other iPhones, so. But I don't save my Apple Watch ones because I like to get as most money for I can with them. And when you sell them with the box, you get a little more money for the cost of it. So, and I will even throw in a dongle for you guys. You'll even get a charging dongle, USB dongle.
I am floored right now.
You won't get that from Apple.
This is extra special care.
Yeah,
you've heard of Apple.
You're gonna pay an extra $20 for that dongle from Apple, and I'm giving it to you for free. So just think of the deals you're getting right there.
What a gentleman.
So I think we should move on.
Apple services.
I think we should move on to Apple One. Yeah, because we've kind of gone a little over on our other times, and I still want to get the iPad. So Apple, I'll kind of jump in here because I've been following this all day, but I've been super stoked about the Apple One service. I've been tweeting about it all weekend because I kind of had a feeling that it was going to happen, and it did. So Apple One will feature a whole bunch of bundled services. Hold on, I'm trying to find it real quick. I had it up. Here we go. So Apple One will feature a whole bunch of services. It's got 3 different plans. It's got an individual plan, a family plan, and then a premier plan. And so the individual one is $14.95, and it comes with Apple Music, Apple TV, Apple Arcade, and iCloud with 50 gigabytes of storage. So essentially, if you have an iPad and you have a iPhone, the storage of the 5 gigabytes or whatever that they give you doesn't help with the backup. So you essentially get 50 gigs for the backup, and then you can also use it for your pictures and all that. And then you can upgrade the storage too on that, but that's a $6 savings when you bundle all that together.
For
$14.95, yeah. The family plan is $19.95. And it comes with all the same services that the individual plan does, except for the iCloud gives you 200 gigabytes of storage that you can obviously share with up to 5 different people on your plan with all those features as well. So that is a great plan because Apple Music alone is $14.95 for up to 5 people when you share that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And then the fact that I've never used arcade, but
I used it.
I
It's not quite worth the $20 in my opinion. It'd be worth more like $5. I mean, if I had an Apple TV that I could play with a controller, it might be more worth it. But it's not worth the $20. So throwing in the bundle is a great way to get it and play around with it.
yeah. And then Apple TV, I mean, it's only $5 a month, but you still get like a lot of great TV shows. They're not like Netflix. They don't have like a large catalog or anything yet, but they do have some pretty cool shows on there as well. So, and they have some new stuff coming out later this year and next year as well. So that's a savings of $8 a month when you bundle all those together. And then they have the Premier plan, which is what I'm going for. It's $29.95. It comes with Apple Music, Apple TV, Apple Arcade, Apple iCloud with 2 terabytes of storage, Apple News, and Apple Fitness Plus, which they announced today. It's basically a bunch of workouts and videos that you can watch, and it'll integrate with your Apple Watch so that you can see your fitness, and you can integrate it into your Apple TV. So you can watch it on your Apple TV. It's got playlist and stuff like that. And that's coming in late 2020, but that's $29.95, and that's a savings of $25 a month. So for me, I pay for Apple Music, I pay for the cloud storage, and I don't actually pay for Apple TV yet, but I will pay for Apple TV. So the fact that I could bundle all those together and also get the fitness and the Apple News is awesome, to save $25 a month for that. And you can share it with up to 5 different people on your plan.
So insane to me. That deal is better than a lot of things that exist in like a similar context right now. Like better than Spotify alone, better than the like Google services that Google offers, like YouTube Music and YouTube Premium, and better than their cloud storage service. And the fact that it comes with the Apple Fitness is the most interesting thing to me, because that on its own is $9.99, which I thought was a really like, I don't know, engaging way to have your watch and or your Apple TV kind of be part of your exercise experience with you. And with all the new tracking systems that's in the Series 6, it just seems like a really comprehensive workout option. And it's all like, it's like a gymless workout subscription plan.
Yeah, and for the fact that COVID's going on too, and a lot of the gyms are still closed, at least around here, but people aren't going to go back to the gym. Like, I don't feel like as much as, so, being able to work out in your own home and not have most of the workouts, they said you don't have to have fancy equipment or anything.
Yep.
So that's pretty amazing right there. For Fitness Plus. So I'm really excited to see what that comes. So that'll be coming in, it says late 2020. So I'm assuming like winter, maybe like in December. But I'm anticipating that the Apple One services will launch somewhere around November or maybe next month.
Wouldn't be surprised if it launched roughly around the same time the iPhone did. Yeah.
Because a lot of people still aren't paying for Apple TV right now. Because they have it for free if you bought an iPhone for a year. So this is kind of a really good opportunity for them to introduce those packages and stuff like that. And this again has been rumored for a long time. I just didn't think the savings were going to be. I thought you would say like a couple bucks, but I mean, Apple News, Apple Arcade, Apple TV, Apple Music, and then the new Fitness. All amazing services, and then the 2 terabytes of space. I mean, you can't beat that. I don't subscribe to any of the other cloud storages like Dropbox. I used to have Dropbox, but I got rid of Dropbox a long time ago just because I wasn't using it as much. And now that you can share files from iCloud with other people as well, and it works. I mean, you can get all your documents all across all your platforms and stuff like that as well. So yeah, that'll be really cool as well.
The thing that interests me, like, I thought the fitness thing that they announced today was really cool, because I've been seeing a lot more of commercials about like fitness at home. Like Mirror is a big one that I thought of, because you have to buy the mirror, and then you also have to buy pay for a subscription where you get access to all the content that you're watching for exercising at home. And I'm not too sure how much you have to pay, how much it costs to subscribe to it.
So fitness is $9.99 a month, or $79.99 a year, and it's automatically included with up to 5 different people too. So
And you get 3
that
months, I
alone,
think, free if you buy a new Apple Watch this year.
yeah. So 3 months free when it launches. So again, late December probably. But I think it'll be really cool. So I'm really excited for Apple One. And I can't wait to see what how the other players in the market try to compete with this.
I feel like Apple created this great bundle, and I think we can all agree that this is a fantastic price for what you're getting. But for the last year or so, Apple's seen the writing on the wall as far as how often people are upgrading their phones and their devices this year, or how often they upgrade their phones and devices, and they've gone more into the services industries, the subscription-based services, in order to keep a good steady flow of income. And I think that they probably didn't get as many people subscribed to Apple Arcade and Apple News Plus as they wanted to. I think they're a little worried about how many people will stop subscribing to Apple TV Plus after that free year, because that's when the real number will come out. Because like Matt said, there's not a huge. The content that's on Apple TV Plus is fantastic. I've enjoyed everything I've watched.
I think it's better quality than quantity.
But there's
which
not
my wife has taught me a long time ago about clothing.
But there's not a whole lot of it. So there's not a huge need for somebody to subscribe to it on a regular basis if their show that they wanted to watch, it doesn't have any new episodes. Granted, they do follow the model of they release an episode a week
per week, yeah.
And then and so you'd have to subscribe to it over a period of time when a new season arrives. But bundling all their services together is a good way to get more of your money, or more of their subscribers' money, and let them experience all their services in a more unified way, without like I said, $20 for Apple Arcade wasn't worth it in my opinion. But hey, if I'm going to play it if I'm going to include it in a bundle that I'm paying $30 a month for or whatever, I'm definitely going to play around with Apple Arcade more than I would if it was $20. And that, I think, opens the door for, as much as I hate to say it, price increases in the future as people start to understand what a great value it is. I see their bundles, Apple One, as a gateway drug into their services, so to speak.
Well, I think they're going to have to add more services.
And I would say for developers too, because like you're saying, they get to add more services when they have the people that have investment into the services they already have. So like people having more exposure to something like Apple Arcade, well, then maybe developers will spend the extra time and effort to make specifically for Apple Arcade. And if the news platform is something that people get accustomed to, then that will also generate possibly more ad revenue for Apple and stuff.
And that's what it comes down to. It gets more people subscribed to their services to expand said services, because Apple put a lot of money up front for things like Apple Arcade and for Apple TV Plus. They put a lot of money into it, and they need to see a return on it. Like there's not even well, I mean, they could probably afford to not see a huge return on it, but they need to see a return on it because they spent so much money getting so many big name people involved in Apple TV Plus that if they don't see a return on it, it's going to be very bad for them and for their stock revenue and whatnot. And this is a good way to keep people engaged and keep subscriber numbers up and to show that the interest is there.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens and what the other players do. I definitely know where my money's going. I mean, it's already going there. I'm just going to pay $5 more and get,
But it's like the Apple News Plus.
3 more services.
I could care less about the Apple News Plus. Will I read a few Apple News Plus articles? Yeah, there have been some times that I've clicked on an article. I'm like, oh, I can't read that because that's an Apple News Plus article. But it's never bugged me enough to spend $10 a month on Apple News Plus.
Well, and
now that it's included in the bundle, I will probably read some Apple News Plus articles.
And Apple News Plus, they just launched local news too. So like it's not here in Seattle yet, but I think San Francisco and a couple places in California and maybe New York and stuff like that kind of launched local news, so you can get more local news built into the app as well. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. You know, if I can get all my news in one place and not have to go out. You know, I like news because I can go in and just read the tech headlines, you know, and stuff like that, and figure out what's going on.
I've used both Google News and Apple News, and by far, I think that Apple News is a much more curated experience, and I feel like I get a much broader news experience as far as headlines that are of a wider variety than I do on Google News.
Yeah, and you don't get junk headlines because again, you have to submit your news feed to Apple to review in order to be able to be allowed into the news app. So
the review process is even in Apple News. That's fascinating.
Yeah, so you have to submit your app, your RSS feed into Apple News, and then it has to be reviewed. And again, if you don't have a lot of content and you don't publish new content enough, they'll kick you out. So yeah. So anyways, so I think we should move on to iPads.
And the gloriousness that is, what is it? The iPad, I don't even know what generation.
So the 8th generation and the iPad Air.
Oh,
the two iPads that they announced. So I have an iPad. Pro. It's the older generation. It was the first. I don't remember what generation it is, but it's one generation behind the current one that's out already. But look at how thick that is. Like the iPad Air is almost that thick.
That's what the iPad Air looks like. Like you could have an iPad Air right now, and if I hadn't just seen like 20 minutes of it today. That's what I think.
And the camera even looks the same too. Like I feel like they just took this generation of the iPad without the Face ID, obviously, and made it into an iPad Air.
And they were saying with the new iPad Air or the new 8th gen iPad that it was like an all-screen surface. Does that have any bezel on the front of it at all?
No. So here I can show you
Oh yeah, I see.
So there it is right there.
So there's no home button on that.
There's no home button on this. So, and I have Face ID on here. The iPad Air doesn't have Face ID. It has Touch ID, which is built into the newer the newer Touch ID, which is built into the power button, basically. So the nice thing about it is it starts at $599 though, which is a good price, I think, for a mid-level iPad. I don't know that I would buy a new iPad Pro. I feel like I could get by with an iPad Air for what I use it for.
What's the biggest difference? The screen refresh?
The screen refresh and the Face ID. You know, I do like Face ID because I can swipe up, you know, when I'm, you know, on an airplane or sitting in bed or whatnot, and not have to put my fingerprint on the power button. But I mean, I could get used to putting my finger on the fingerprint button. I mean,
well, if COVID's taught us anything, it's that Face ID alone is not necessarily the best idea.
Well, and I'm hoping, like I'm really hoping after seeing this Touch ID that maybe Touch ID will be coming to the iPhone back again as an alternative for like the iPad Pro, maybe, or the iPhone Pro, that it would have a Touch ID on the power button itself. So
I have a feeling we're not going to see that this year, but it would be nice.
It would be so amazing. So not to have to, you know, type in a passcode every time.
We'll see. Has any iPhone had so there's face detection, but has there just been iris detection?
No.
Oh,
no.
I see. Samsung Galaxy S8 had iris detection. iPhones are behind. I can wearing my mask and still log into
How secure is that? How secure is that though?
That's a good question. I haven't researched it. If it's a high resolution camera and Samsung cares, which is, it's a corporation, so who knows? I'd imagine irises are pretty secure in general, but I don't know.
I love having a fingerprint right in the screen.
Oh yeah.
The best.
And OnePlus's fingerprint reader right there in display works really nice. And I want to say Apple just got granted a patent for what do they call it? A sonic fingerprint reader under the display. So there was some tech YouTuber that I was watching that said something that the technology and the patent or something like that, or the proposal is that you could almost essentially have Touch ID built in for any app, and you wouldn't have to like move your finger to a specific part of the screen. I don't know. It doesn't sound that feasible, but that'd be kind of neat. Go to open up an app and you just hold your finger over the app and it opens up and it's already biometrically read.
That sounds future tech. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and then the iPad 8th generation is a lot like the original iPad. It's got the home button on the front with the Touch ID. It has an upgraded camera, I think, in it. It has upgraded chips. It has upgraded screen. But essentially, it's the 8th generation of the entry level iPad, but at a great price for $329. You can get that iPad. $299 for education, which, I mean, obviously right now, a lot of people.
I want to say $329 or something like that is what I paid for my first generation Mini when I bought it all those years ago.
Yeah. I think the Mini will be gone. I don't think that they would bring back a Mini with their iPad lineup now. The iPad Air, and the iPad Pro, I think are the direction that Apple's going.
I'm okay if they kill off the Mini.
It's just it's a lot smaller, and I don't mind that. But when you have big iPhones now, like, why do you need
with the way
iPad
not only that, but with the way that iPad OS works and looks nowadays, it almost feels like a waste to not use it on a bigger screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I agree. And with iOS 14 and mouse support,
you couldn't put an iPad Mini anywhere. You couldn't position, like, what would it have to be, $199 in order to be competitive for this beast of an iPad 8th gen at $329? Like, I don't think that differentiates it in a positive way. It just seems like a cheap offering rather than something that's actually helpful and in line with how much Apple charges for the quality of their products.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the way the iPad's going with iOS 13 had mouse support, but with mouse support now built into iOS 13 and now iOS 14, I really like using a mouse with iOS 14 sometimes, especially if I'm doing typing or whatnot, pairing a regular keyboard to it, a regular mouse. It's really handy. So, and then the Apple Pencil is amazing too. I love my Apple Pencil. I don't use it as much, but when I do use it, it's amazing, And then iOS 14 also, you can like select text in pictures and stuff like that and copy it using the Apple Pencil, which is really cool too. And that's in iOS 14, so that works on my current iPad and some of the other ones too that support the pencil. But that's really cool as well. So, and then drawing like shapes and boxes and stuff like that. If you hold down once you draw like a square box, it'll complete your box in, the proper edges. So it'll be. It won't be a squiggly line if you draw a squiggly line like I do sometimes, because I'm not good at drawing. But yeah, so that was their iPad announcement, and I think it was overall a pretty good announcement for it.
iOS 14 and watchOS 7 drop publicly tomorrow. The Golden Masters got released today.
Developers are furious. Like, I'm on a developer group, and like in Slack, I'm on a developer group for developers who work in Seattle, and they are just, some of them are livid. Like Apple gave no time for them to update their apps. Generally, they usually have about a week to submit their apps for a review. They got the GM release today. Normally they would have a week. They have 1 day. It drops
Only
tomorrow
Apple
at
gave them
10.
a way to play around with iOS 14 for months to be
Well,
getting everything
just giving
put
them
in
a
place.
heads up. Like, I think it, honestly, as a developer, like, I feel like Apple should have given them heads up, said, hey, your apps, we're dropping it early. You're not going to have enough time, putting it on the developer portal, saying, hey, the GM's going to release on this day. Have your apps updated on, Friday or whatever, and give them at least 3 days, because essentially they need iOS 14 and Apple Watch series, or the Apple Watch Watch OS. They need the new versions by Friday in order to run the new Apple Watch, which comes out on Friday.
But I mean, if they'd been working on their apps all summer long, then at this point, by the time that they were ready to drop the Golden Master, and we all knew they were going to drop the Golden Master today, it should only be down to just them tweaking those final few things.
Well, there is, but again, like, you don't update an app based on a beta, because betas change, and then you have to change with it as well. So when you write code in beta processes, usually you're trying new things out. Like the widgets, sure. A lot of people were trying out widgets and trying to figure out how widgets are going to integrate with their app and stuff like that. But there's some other, bug features and stuff like that they're going to have to work out. And, a couple of the developers said in the app that they're going to be up till like 2 or 3 in the morning working on getting their app submitted for tomorrow, and then still it needs to be reviewed. Again, Pokemon Go didn't work until like a couple hours ago, and the developers were probably pushing to try and get that up, because that's a pretty big app for
people would not be able to play it tomorrow if they updated iOS 14. I actually warned my friend who also plays Pokemon Go. I'm like, listen, iOS 14 drops tomorrow. It's still not working on the Golden Master. Don't update until I tell you it works.
Yeah. So I think Apple really hit the developers hard on that, and I don't think.
And Apple controlled every little piece. They could have shipped the devices a week later. They could have dropped the announcement a week earlier. I mean, there's so much more they could have done to give them, the developers, the chance to get their apps figured out and submitted for quality review and available for the public.
Because even when you submit an app today, you still have to be reviewed. I don't know if they're expediting reviews. They might have more people doing reviews and stuff like that throughout the night. But yeah, I mean, I don't know that every app's going to be ready to go by tomorrow.
I mean, the good news is aside from Pokemon Go, I haven't had an issue with any of my apps not working. So I mean, that's a plus. In fact, I've noticed that there is still a bug that's been present through the entire iOS 14 beta, and that is I will adjust my volume, and I'll see the volume rocker or the volume HUD move up and down. Sometimes it won't go all the way down. It'll stay on like that last notch, and I cannot get it to go any lower. But then I'll pull down my control center, my volume will still be at 100%. And it doesn't happen all the time, but I've noticed it happen a few times today since I've updated to the GM. So I don't think iOS 14 Gold Master is 100% golden quite yet. I think that this is more or less a dry run, because they're rumored to be shipping the new iPhones with iOS 14.1. And I think that will be the more official release. And they did something like this last year where they were getting close to release date for iOS 13, and they realized that iOS 13 was still kind of buggy, so they sent us up to iOS 13.1 during the developer beta, like before they released iOS 13.
Yeah, I remember getting my iPhone 11, and I had to update right away to the new beta, or to the new OS system, because it still had the older system on it too. So Yeah, so iOS 14 drops tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
You
Wait,
gonna
Tim, are
put
you
your
gonna
stuff on
update?
14?
yeah, I'm gonna update tomorrow.
You can update
Uh,
tonight.
I don't even know if it's honestly. This is a enterprise
Oh,
iPhone, so I don't even know if I have
yeah,
the right
he's
I
got
don't
it.
want
permission.
to put the beta on
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So yeah, a lot of cool new features though. Widgets, the app drawer or app library, what they call it, and then yeah, iOS 14 or iPad OS 14, and then Watch OS 7. Right? Am I right?
Mhm.
Yeah, Watch OS 7. Yeah, so all drop tomorrow.
Lots of
Go out and get it.
integration features. Definitely go out and get it. Yeah. So I think that about wraps it up, guys.
It does.
Thank you, everyone out there in Screenland and podcast land, for watching or listening to the Goopplycast. Thank you, guys. I'm Matt Carter, and with me has been Matt, Roy, and Tim. Thank you guys for being here. Have a great night, everybody. See you next time.